to bring up Benjamin. He's the regional sales director, sales and marketing for Dialogue Insight. And I think a topic and a theme that you heard permeate throughout the morning sessions, talking about customer intelligence, but centralized customer intelligence. We've heard CRM, we've heard first-party data, we've heard privacy, we've heard compliance. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but Ben, why don't you come up and we'll kick you off. So welcome to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. Obviously, I hope you guys all had a wonderful lunch and ready to get back into the subjects of this whole conference. So today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about centralized customer intelligence. You've probably never seen me, or some of you might have in the past, so I'll introduce myself a little bit. My name is Benjamin. I'm a regional director, so I manage all sales, marketing, and retention. So obviously, all the challenges that you probably live, I also live. So I know a little bit about this. So obviously, as a solution here that we're trying to obviously promote, but I'm also someone that also lives the same challenges that you have. Over the last couple of years, I've worked in the marketing industry. I've helped many clients from different industries, but also from different sizes, be able to kind of achieve personalization into their campaigns. That accounts for a lot of data management that usually most clients have faced in the past, so it's always starting with being able to help them centralize and unify the data before having that chance to be able to then personalize their campaigns. And then who are we? Dialogue Insight. So we are a marketing CRM platform. We're the leading in Canada, so there's not that many in Canada, but we are the leading CRM in Canada for centralizing and personalizing your campaigns. So who here, raise your hand if you have an issue with centralizing or having access to your data. Someone raised their hand very, very quickly there. Perfect. And I know it's an issue that's probably been bothering you, probably you've seen or you are in the process of trying to get rid of that issue. But most organizations are living that same problem. And in the last couple of years, a lot of businesses have always said that we're now a data business. We have to go get data. We gotta get as much data from different sources, but they didn't really think, okay, well, what's the need? Why am I doing this? And in what case? So obviously they've gathered data, they've had it in different teams, different silos, different places. So it's very fragmented, it's very all over the place, but we have a lot of it. And it's great, we have a lot of it, but we can't use it because we don't have access to it. It's somewhere, it's unknown what it means to have all this data. So obviously, when you have this issue, you want to be able to centralize, unify that data so that you can then create your campaigns that are personalized. So you can imagine it that if you have, let's say, for example, you want to be able to have the freedom to do as much strategies around your data. But if you only have access to, let's say, first name, last name, what kind of campaign are you going to do? Is it going to be personalized, or is it just going to be personalized on the first name, last name? So obviously, the more data you have, the more opportunities you have to actually create personalized campaigns and truly personalized campaigns. What does personalization really give you? I don't know why the rendering on this page is kind of weird, but so it obviously is a conversion driver. It helps you be able to lower your costs in terms of acquiring new clients, but also reduces your churn rate. So all of this means that your marketing is more efficient, but also that you can spend more time with your marketing team to do different things, do more strategies around your data instead of just having to do campaigns over campaigns to try to retain those customers. So hyper-personalization obviously is something that you want to do. You want to achieve that. And I know we've talked a little bit around, like in the last couple of sessions, about compliance. We've talked about consent. We've talked about personalization, maybe the creepiness of personalization as well. We've talked about a bunch of different subjects. So what is hyper-personalization versus just personalization? Hyper-personalization is really the multi-dimension of the personalization aspect. You don't just personalize the content that the person's going to receive it. You're going to personalize when they receive it, on what channel they're going to receive it, how many times they're going to receive it, but also what type of information that they get. So all of this is only possible if you have this information on your customers. You need to be able to understand your customers first so that you can then be able to personalize each and every communication, messaging that you're then going to send them. So obviously centralizing your information is very important. First of all, it's going to give you better data quality, so you'll be able to understand, organize, and maybe activate that data. And one of the things that sometimes maybe as a marketer is that my IT team has the data. My X team has the data. My YZ has the data. So how can I leverage it if I don't have access to it? So it's the ability to have access to it by the marketing team to be able to get results. So obviously we need to get all teams involved in this process to drive change, to make sure that whenever we sit down with the product, with finance, with customer success, that we sit down and say, okay, what data do we have and what are our goals that we want to achieve, centralize that data, and then drive more strategies around the objectives that we have. And then we have to obviously create smarter omni-channel campaigns. So obviously once we get the information, we want to automate. We want to make sure that it's going to drive more business, but also business at all times. So I talked about sending communication at the right time. Well, if we have something that's automated, then it can make sure that it's always sending the communication at the right time. Automation is something that we've talked about. We've talked about AI and all of this, that kind of beautiful stuff that's come up in the last few years. Obviously, the more we put in place, we need data to be able to do it. AI is driven by data, so if we don't have data, you can't have AI. Automation is based on data, so without data, you can't have automation. So the whole circle here, so we just also have to make sure that we have our centralized data to be able to do these kind of things. And then faster strategic marketing initiatives, you get data, you get more insight, you can then segment, you can cluster, you can analyze your data, you can actually take better decisions on your information. Check out what your KPIs are doing. Are they going up? Are they going down? Take decisions based on data and not just on qualitative data, but on quantitative data. At Dialogue Insight, obviously, we've had multiple different clients over the years. We've worked with some in the financial industry. I can't say what client this is for legal reasons, but we've had clients where we've actually activated hundreds of different advisors to be able to automate, personalize their communication, and also for the brand to also always make sure that they have a brand consistency, whether it's from Advisor 1 to Advisor 1000. And this has led to them be able to make sure that the advisor have access to the data, have access to automation templates, and be able to automate a lot of their process and drive more conversions, drive more business for the company, and make sure that they are more efficient overall. So over time, with this implementation for all their advisors, they were able to really grow. They were 4 times faster. They had conversion rate higher by 28%, stronger engagement, and brand consistency across all their different advisors. So this makes sure that it involves personalization, but it also involves the consistency of the brand, the messaging, and everything in it. So obviously, if we're talking about in marketing, we want to make sure that we drive more conversions. We talked about personalization. If we have data, we implement it in our campaigns for each and every advisor that we're going to send. It's going to feel more personal when I receive it, when you receive it, but it's also going to make sure that you have more conversion at the end of the day. Other actual use cases that we've done and which have seen a lot of different uptick in terms of KPIs is the personalized and automated client onboarding. You want to retain your clients, you want to make sure that they have the right content, the right information at all times. Having those personalized but automated campaigns can make sure that everyone receives the right information. So it increases engagement over the first few days. It's going to reduce the number of cancellation, but it's also going to drive more upsell and cross-sell. And one of the things that you can think about is when you're personalizing, it's not just about personalizing the content, like I mentioned. It's personalizing everything in your communication, so it could also be who's sending out the email or the communication or the message. If I'm sending it out as myself, even if it's automated, even if it's a mass communication, if I'm the one sending it with my own email address, it feels more personal to the client that's going to receive it instead of just being marketing at Dialogue Insight. It feels more personal, and then when I reply to that email, I'm talking directly to the advisor. Upsell campaigns, we're always looking for that extra mile. We always want to go get a little bit more from our clients. So obviously being able to understand their behavior, understand when there may be some changes in their lives. Maybe they're looking to get a new car, it's been a couple of years or anything like that. We can actually get some campaigns that are running. Maybe it's the renewal of their actual insurance policy. All these campaigns can actually be created and automated and personalized so that they understand exactly what you're proposing in your communication at all times, and it's based on their own behaviors, their own preferences, and also everything that you may have gathered on them. So this improves obviously the customer lifetime value. You can sell more. You can actually have shorter life cycle, sales cycle. So that can actually gives you more velocity in terms of your campaigns. And you can also have predictive retention scenarios. So we all have this issue where we want to retain as much as possible our clients. We work so hard to get them. We spend so much money on them. We want to make sure that they stay with us as long as possible. So having these scenarios will make sure that you retain them for as long as possible. And when we get like a score saying, hey, this person is or may be reducing in terms of their engagement with us or anything like that, then we can have them be more engaged. They will feel as if you were closer with them, so they will stay with us for longer. So, data into hyper-personalization, it's a whole process. Like I mentioned, as we've worked with the different clients, there's a process to it. And the most of the time that you're going to spend is in the first section. It's a unification of the data. This is what takes the longest, but it's what's going to give you the most at the end of the day, because it's going to help you connect your different systems, your different teams, your different stacks together to make sure that you have a clean customer view of all your customers. So you're going to be able to understand them better, you're going to be able to communicate with them better, and you're also going to be able to take better decisions at the end of the day. Then you go into automate. You want to make sure that you use that information for campaigns. You want to automate, you want to personalize, you want to have something that's going to be relevant to them at all times. So you want to really be able to create those campaigns with an automation, with some kind of trigger that's based on their behavior or based on a campaign that you want to run. And then you want to always optimize. So with data, it's great so that you can always monitor, you can adapt, you can scale, you can always look at the data and be able to change what's not working or use what's working more often. So clearly, there's a big ROI on using data for hyper-personalization. So you want to be able to have like higher conversions, higher engagement, higher loyal customers. You want to have higher customer lifetime customer lifetime value, you want to increase all these things over time. So having the data to be able to understand your customers better can help you create like campaigns that are more personalized and then increase everything in your business. And it's not necessarily, like I've talked a lot about the data and how you need to spend the most time on it. It doesn't need to be the most expensive data. It doesn't need to be the most rigorous or most complex environment. It just needs to be centralized, unified together so that you can understand your customers better and then personalize it. And the more, obviously, the more you work with different teams, you're going to be more aligned with them. You align yourself with the product team. You align with yourself with the sales team. All that alignment will make sure that whenever you're communicating with your customers, whether it's directly from the marketing team or from the sales team, it's aligned. You're not sending multiple different communication to the clients because the sales team's doing their own thing. You're doing your marketing campaigns. And then at the end of the day, the customer is receiving 2, 3, 4, 5 different emails. He's getting blasted, and he's really not liking that experience at the end of the day. So he just says, I don't want to deal with you anymore. So obviously having that stronger alignment will make sure that your campaigns will drive more conversions. They'll be improved, improve your customer engagement as well at the end of the day. And obviously, with hyper-personalization, what are you doing? You're sending out more relevant information. So having more relevant content, more relevant information can help you actually get better results. I've talked a little bit about gamification as well. So gamification is a good way of getting data. So obviously, if you guys are looking to some ideas on what you can do to actually help you get more information, you can look into gamification. Gamification kind of helps make it more interesting for customers to actually jump into sending you your information. It's not about just always asking for data, but it's also about making it fun for the customer and also telling them why you're getting that information. Why am I sending you your information? What are you going to do with it? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it from you, and I'm going to personalize your content so that you have a better experience with my brand. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you all for your attention. It was great to talk with you guys, to give this speech. If you want to talk more about this, share ideas about how you can actually personalize or change it, like adapt your data, scale your data, scale your automation, your personalization, please come see us. We'd be more than happy to talk to you guys and share some ideas.
Awesome. Thank you. So we've got a few minutes for questions. There's a couple of mics, I think, ready to go around the room. Raise your hand if you have anything you want to throw out. Personalized questions only, please. I have two.
I think I was great enough that nobody had questions.
You were so personalized for the relevance of this room that you predicted everything they were going to ask, but not me, because I have two.
Okay.
Okay, so someone earlier, actually, I can't remember who it was, one of the earlier presentations, was actually talking the inverse to some degree, not to challenge you, and was talking a little bit about the risk, or maybe too much personalization could actually be a bad thing in terms of scaring off, or the fear of the consumer kind of going, maybe that's the trigger point at which I withdraw my consent, or I decide to maybe not do something. How do you find the balance? Like, what's the measure or the trick to say, what is the line?
Well, it comes back to what information is given and what is acquired in general. What is the customer giving you versus what is acquired through other business departments? If I'm personalizing based on information that I've acquired through the sales team or anything like that, when I personalize based on that information, it might be weird because you didn't think I would have that information at the end of the day. But if you're just personalizing on information that you've asked for and they've consented to give to you, then it makes more sense. It's also more aligned with what they're expecting. But also, like, the personalization is not just about the content. Like I've mentioned, it's about more dimension about when you're personalizing, when you're sending a communication, all that kind of information, right? So if you're also giving me your phone number, should I send you an SMS or should I send you an email? Because I have both. So at the end of the day, it's kind of like knowing which one you're expecting and then asking you which one you're expecting, and then personalizing based on that information.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of ties into the other question set or the thought, which was we often talk about the offer, the presentment, the content itself, which article, which product, but there's so much more in terms of when am I sending it, right? When am I most, I mean, even if you use something as simple as MailChimp for your newsletter, built in now, theoretically using AI, I can't tell you, but it's doing send prediction at your overall newsletter level or down to the individual level, right? Salesforce Marketing Cloud's got it embedded with its Einstein. And so thinking about the when, or to your point, the channel. So is it an email that's going to draw the best response? Is it an SMS? Is it a letter to someone's house? For some people, that will work. So I think that's actually important. I guess the only other question then is, assuming, well, has anybody here actually ever withdrawn consent because they were like, that's really creepy? Or like, a couple people. I think we might see more of it. I don't know, but and this is maybe the wrong audience. You should ask that at at a general room.
I actually have a question. How many of you have opted out because you've received too many communications?
Oh, that, yeah, for sure.
There you go. So that's
but isn't it amazing that I spend a morning on a Sunday like withdrawing from 52 newsletters, and by Tuesday I'm somehow back on all their lists again? Anyway, scale. So let's just assume it's all positive, it's all great, it's all working. But how do you scale this for there's large banks, large insurance companies here. What's the scale game look like? How do you actually take this to full production?
Are you talking about the data or
the personalization component?
The personalization, obviously. We've talked about AI. AI is obviously the number one thing where people are doing, but automation is the number one key. The key to it is actually being able to automate most of your process. Like we usually, the bigger the company, the more people you have, right? So you'll have more processes. You'll be able to automate more of these processes with the tools. So obviously, technology plays a big role in automation. Using AI to also use it for personalization. You mentioned Einstein a little bit in Salesforce. Obviously, different tools will have different types of ways to use AI and automation, but obviously it depends on the tool that you're using.
Cool. Any other questions? Get stimulated in the last few minutes?
There's one over there.
All right.
Just wondering if you could help people in the room understand what's the best time to bring someone like you in? Because I think there's kind of this beginning point where we almost don't know what we don't know. We're halfway through bringing data together. We're starting to walk with a little bit of customization. When is it best to bring in an outside piece of help like yourself?
Well, obviously at the beginning of the project, because if you've already started, then we've got to rethink everything from the start. But obviously, there's some organization that's going to actually be able to centralize their information and be able to use, then it's like that point is like once it's centralized, when it's unified, I just want to activate it. But these are like different points, inflection points that you got to think, am I still unifying my data or am I automating my data? So based on these, you'll like say, okay, well, you can bring me in, maybe us at the beginning of your project to unify your data, or you can bring us in once you've unified your data and say, I want to activate, I want to automate, I want to personalize. Then at that point, we can also help. Does that make sense to you? Perfect.
Sales guy took the bait. I like it. At the beginning of the project, it was perfect. Anyone else? No? All right, well, thank you for the time, and appreciate the presentation.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks, everyone.